How's it going today, guys? Today we're going to be going over the pros and cons of the new Garmin Force KRAKEN trolling motor. So with that being said, if you're not subscribed already, be sure and hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't smashed the like button on this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. With that being said, let's get into it. As we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know, for your convenience, I have linked down below these trolling motors along with other brands of trolling motors, just in case you want to see what other brands had to offer, or if you're leaning towards one more than the other, they're all available for you guys to see from a trusted place to buy online. So with that being said, let's start the pros and cons. So we're going to start with the pros first, and then we're going to list the cons. So the first thing about the pros is the shaft length sizes. Garmin KRAKEN is a new trolling motor for Garmin. Before, they just had the Garmin Force. That's still around. Those are smaller shaft lengths. Those are for bass boats, really. These ones are meant to be for most other boats, saltwater boats, other boats that are taller for freshwater. And these are available in 63, 75, 90-inch shaft lengths. The size you need, it's really going to depend on the height from the water where your bow sits to the waterline of the boat. Is going to determine what size shaft length you need for your trolling motor. So that being said, another pro to the new Garmin Force KRAKENs is the increased amount of thrust. 36 volts, hundreds of pounds of thrust, that's really impressive. And at 24 volts, they put out 80 pounds of thrust. That's really good. Basically what thrust is what it sounds like. It's basically the motor thrusting. So you could almost think of it like horsepower almost, to keep your boat in spots. So that way when it's windy or it's rough or whatever, when the weather is not flat calm, that is what's going to be holding your trolling motor on that spot. Increased thrust is going to help your trolling motor keep you on your spot, or keep you going on whatever that path you might have. Like if you're going down a dock line or whatever, that thrust is what's going to help move the boat and keep it in position. That's important. Obviously, if it's like too rough, like if, let's say for example, you were in like a 24-foot center console and you had 100 pounds of thrust, and it was like 6-foot waves with 30-mile-an-hour winds, trolling motor is not going to work in that case. Conditions are going to have to be a lot more favorable to deploy the trolling motor. However, 100 pounds of thrust is great. It's good for most sea conditions on most days that you're going out. And that being said, that brings us to the next thing. So the biggest plus to this is really if you have Garmin on your boat. So if you have Garmin chart plotters on your boat, like the beautiful 8600 series or even the new 9000 series, if you're that lucky, they have really good integration with Garmin chart plotters. So that way you're going to be able to unlock extra features with your trolling motor and be able to control it from your Garmin display, along with any Garmin like wearables, like a smartwatch. Now obviously the series depends. Please be sure and check Garmin's website for compatible devices to ensure that your smartwatch can control the KRAKEN, which is pretty cool to be able to control your trolling motor from your smartwatch. I'm not wearing a smartwatch. However, just so you know, you can control it from your smartwatch along with the remote or even your chart plotter. So that's great. Multiple ways you can control it, but the highlight of that is you can control it from your Garmin screen, and you get a ton of extra features by being able to control it from your Garmin screen. So that brings us to the next thing, is on the freshwater trolling motors. Freshwater trolling motors are the black trolling motors, and the white ones are going to be for saltwater. The difference is the black trolling motors, the components aren't going to be built, they're not going to be, I don't want to say that they're not high quality, but not quite built like as well as the saltwater trolling motors, because the saltwater trolling motors are exposed to a saltwater environment. Saltwater environment, there is salt, and salt causes rust and all that, so it's going to be like a higher quality of materials inside of it to help prevent corrosion and saltwater damaging the motor, obviously. But with the freshwater trolling motor, you do get that UHD transducer, ultra high definition. It comes with the trolling motor, so that's great. And basically, with that transducer on your trolling motor, you're gonna be able to see what's below your boat, from the bow of your boat, from your trolling motor onto your screen. So that's really great. Also, another great thing is that if you are using the live scope system on this new trolling motor, the wire is actually protected on the system. So rather than sticking out and going on your shaft, it goes right through the shaft. Well, kind of, it does. Basically, the shaft around it is protecting it. That way you don't get that cable cut. And obviously, as you may already know, if you cut your cable on a live scope system, your cable is not warranted by Garmin. So that's great because it helps protect your cable and helps you prevent yourself from cutting your cable on your live scope. So with that being said, that brings us to our next point, which is the pivotal style mount. Basically, the point of this is like for center consoles, the deep V hulls, it allows them to save space at the bow of the hull by having a pivotal style mount. And that brings us to the last pro, which is the 3-year warranty on the trolling motor. That is a really good warranty on the trolling motor, and not to mention the shaft has a lifetime warranty as well. Normally the shaft doesn't break, it's normally other components of the trolling motor. However, a 3-year warranty on a trolling motor is phenomenal. But that's the pros, but there is some cons to it. Drawback number 1 is that not as much thrust as the leading competitor. I know they said industry leading thrust on their advertisement. However, Minn Kota's new Ultrix Quest series, Riptide series, they have more thrust than the Garmin series. Now, if thrust is the thing you're really concerned about, I know for a lot of saltwater guys, it's the primary concern rather than, all the other connectivity. Saltwater guys are more focused on being able to stay on their spot when conditions get worse. So for example, the Minn Kota trolling motor, the new trolling motor Minn Kota puts out 115 pounds of thrust at 36 volts and 90 pounds at 24 volts. Versus the Garmin, once again, 100 pounds of thrust, 36 volts, 100 pounds. 15-pound difference at 36 volts, and at 24 volts, the difference is just 10 pounds. Still significant, 80 versus 90. Minn Kota obviously wins out at 90 pounds of thrust. So that's something to keep in mind. And the other thing is, in these larger trolling motors, for the larger freshwater systems and saltwater boats, they don't quite have as much experience as some of the other brands do in the industry. For example, the most notable one, Minn Kota, they've been doing this for years. They've really got a great system figured out. The biggest downfall to them is really just being able to get one at certain times of their company, just because the way their logistics works is not the best, and it's often found that your trolling motor is backordered when you go to order one, just because the way Minn Kota works. However, if that's not the case, Minn Kota does have a little bit more experience with these types of trolling motors, and they have some more thrust. Obviously, Minn Kota has their own benefits, especially if you use a hummingbird system. However, a lot of people don't really like a hummingbird system, and Garmin has a really great system as well, especially on saltwater boats and freshwater systems as well. So that's really comes down to personal preference. What are you looking to use the trolling motor for? We went over the pros, we went over some of the cons, and basically, at the end of the day, it really comes down to you. What are you looking to use this trolling motor for, and how you plan to get the most out of it? So that being said, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you haven't hit the like button on this video, be sure to do so. Comment down below, let me know your comments or any questions you may have. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and until next time.